What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to do this. It's called a dovetail connection. Quick disclaimer before we jump into this, I am not a pro at this. I literally just learned how to do this 2 days ago, but I feel like this is the best tutorial that you will see on this because I was in your shoes a day ago. So I got myself one of these Harbor Freight jigs, dovetail jigs, and it was extremely confusing on how to set it up and how to make everything work. So today I'm going to show you all the little tricks that you got to do in order to do this. Let's go. So first, let's go over the tools that you're going to need for this project. Obviously, first thing you're going to need is this dovetail jig. I got mine from Harbor Freight. Then you're going to need a router. This is a Metabo router that I have here. And then you're going to need a dovetail bit for your router. And I have a 1/4-inch shank bit there to fit this router. Then we're going to need guides. Every single tutorial out there shows you this. A 1/2-inch guide that you're going to need for your router that fits in here perfectly. That is wrong. At least it was wrong for me. I tried so many times for so many hours to make this thing work and it just didn't. So what I switched to was 7/16 guide, which is just a little bit less. And then it has a little bit of wiggle room there, but it gave me those super perfect joints. So that's where we're going to be using it. So let me show you how to get this into this. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is install my guide into the router here. Kind of like this. Screw it down. Banger. Bang. Make sure that that thing on the back, the little nut here on the back, is actually nice and tight because I've had it come loose a couple of times because this thing would vibrate, it comes loose. And then that you have to take this whole thing apart to basically put that thing back. All right, so the bit that I'm using here is this fraud bit. Here's all the little specs on the back of it. This thing's a beast, super, super sharp. The bits that I was getting before, well, when I was practicing, the first bit that I got from Lowe's just burnt right out. So I really didn't have good experience with that. Okay, then I'm going to put this in here. I'm gonna hold this, get this somewhat tight first. And then it's important to, the height of this is very important, but all of this stuff that I'm going to be showing you is important, obviously, because we're making a video about it, but it's all customizable, basically meaning that you should not expect to have a perfect dovetail in your first pass. Like, I just get those expectations out of your mind, and then all of this will seem less frustrated. So I'm gonna tighten this up. I was getting annoyed because I would spend all this time trying to do it, and then my stuff would come out kind of bad. So get this tight, okay? Then now we're going to set the height of this. Let me show you at least the height that worked for me. We'll go from there, and then I'll show you how to adjust it and what that adjustment will look like. All right, so what I learned yesterday was that 5/8 just gave me these perfect joints. So get yourself one of these little tools here because it's gonna help you a lot. I'm gonna go down to 5/8 right there. Lock this in. Bring it over to my router. Set that right on the block there. Loosen it. This will then spin down until I hit it. I'll come back just a little bit right there. And then go. I've seen some of these tutorials where they're like 1/64. I'm like, what? It's hard to measure that, first of all. Count to 64 or whatever. But like if you are going to be like, oh, I need it to be a little bit tighter, a little bit looser, just lock your kind of hand in here, loosen this, spin it a little bit, lock it back in. You're going to have to make probably, my guess will be 6 or 7 cuts until you perfect your joint. Let me know in the comments how many cuts it took you to get that perfect joint. All right, so this is all set up. Let me show you kind of what my setup looks here, and then we're going to cut it. So the wood that I'm going to show you as an example is this 3.5-inch by 3/4-inch hard oak wood that I got from Lowe's. Just so if you guys literally want to copy it, you could copy it. It's important to figure out. So you see how like right here, as I'm putting it in, this is kind of snug a little bit. That's what you want. As you're lifting it in, just kind of raise this up and then it goes in. That goes to the face of this bumper. Then this will go inside here. and then go right to there. I'm gonna take both of these fingers and kind of just bring these faces together. Here, show this. You see how there's a gap there? I'm gonna bring those faces together, kind of hold it. I'm going to always lock in this one first because it kind of lifts it up a little bit. Then put a little pressure up from here, lock that in, and that's what my joint is going to look like here. And right here, you'll see that it's 1/2 inch offset, and I'll show you how to set that up later. But this is what it looks like before we start cutting. One thing that I'm going to add, and this is now from my one day experience, is that when I get to this side, this end ends up blowing out a little bit, kind of like this. And I don't really like that. So the way to stop that is I'm actually gonna loosen this up, put an extra block right here as scrap. This is a sacrificial, sacrificial block that's gonna go there. That's going to give a little bit of that resistance for when I kind of make that cut going that way. So let's just tighten all this stuff up and then let's cut it. So when you're going to see me cut it, because we're gonna time lapse the cutting a little bit, you'll see me pass through here first, just to kind of have a nice straight line there. And then I'm going to start diving into it. And I'm going to focus on one side at a time. I'll go here, come out, and then kind of jump over to this side and then router in. If you go like this and then just try to come right back, sometimes because of the material that then is shaved out, is kind of stuck in there, the router, I don't know, it gets kind of scary a little bit. So go this way, I'll come out, go that way, and then I'll come out. So we'll time lapse this. It won't be too fast, but you'll see kind of how I kind of flow through this and cut it out. All right, so a mistake that I've already found that I should have been doing is actually use this bumper block here and then hold this piece of wood, because as my router went in there, I don't know if you can see right through that crack, it again blew that out because it's just moved to the side. All right, so let's undo this right here. Take this piece out. This gets cleaned up, and you can also just put that to the bottom. So, all right, then this piece goes like this. Let me show you. Let's tap it in. All right, so look at that. So that was very tight. I think what I want to do then is to make the jig a little, not the jig, but this a little bit looser. And to make the joint a little bit looser, all you have to do is then raise it up a little bit. So if you see here, I'm going to just ever so slightly raise it up to there and then lock it back in. Let's make this cut again, the exact same thing. I'll just take this scrap wood, I'll put this in here. Into this side, I'll take, oh, that's in there already, but I'll take another scrap piece here and then I'll put it here. Let's cut it out again and see if that joint loosened up a little bit. All right, so now we're gonna take this out of our jig and see if that adjustment made this joint just a little bit looser, right? That was the goal here. Oh, I'm not going right here. So now that, oh, look at that. See, so now I can almost push this in with my hands. So this is probably realistically where you want your joint to be, just because there's gonna be glue and things like that here. Bump it on here. Okay, so seems like when I had this in, that wasn't fully square, and then we're having a little bit of this. So you see, like right here, if I tap this in, that's almost perfect. What I'm actually gonna do, that's what this back block here is actually controlling my depth, which is basically how far those little pieces go in. What I'm gonna do here is then move this back. Right now it should be set at 4 inches. That's what it was working for me yesterday. I'm going to, so let's just double check. So that's right there at 4. I'm going to move it to 4 1/16. So basically, I'm going to make those dovetails a little bit long, so then I can always just back them out a little bit and make them flush, because that will give me a little bit of room there for like wiggle room. So same thing on this side. I'm going to then loosen this up, go there, and do this on the sides. So loosen this up, have that attached right there, bang, go on this side, attached, bang. So that just backed up 1/16 of an inch. Let's cut it out one more time, and this should be perfect. All right, let's see what we got here with our third try. And this is me trying to teach you guys, right? Isn't that funny? That like still trying to figure it out. So now this should be able to go in much easier because we back the bit up, which is it is, because I'm basically able to do this by hand almost. I'm gonna tap this in. Bang, flush. And then you can always just back it out a little bit now when you're gluing it. When you're gluing it, you're gonna put clamps all around that, and then you have that joint. Also, what's nice, so here, if it's sticking out a little bit, you can almost not see it, but you can feel it a little bit. What I got myself is one of these cute little wood planers here, and then I'm just going to shave that down ever so slightly. Do you need to do that? Probably not. Do you have to use a sand? Could you use a sander? Yeah, you probably could use a sander, but it makes me feel like a woodworker, like to be able to do that stuff. So that's kind of what it will look like. When you're using your router here, make sure that you're just letting it do its job and just let it eat. Don't force it. Don't try to push it. That's where you'll have some of these chip outs. Don't let that happen. Kind of looking at it, here's the setup. This piece here, you want it to be about 1/8 of an inch back from the edge of the wood here. And the way that you can adjust that is by releasing these little pins here, and then you can set that back. Why is it 1/8 of an inch? I'm honestly not quite sure yet. Then when you're going to be doing this here, it's important to know where to put this piece of wood. So for me, I just basically just put it in there, locked it in, and then went and routed it out. And what's happening is my dovetail really wasn't balanced. So then I started to move it from side to side to make sure that I had a balance. You see how this little dovetail here matches this dovetail? So I found that space where it is, and then that looks really nice. Because we were getting ones that was kind of like a little bit and they're just kind of blowing out. So you're gonna have to kind of find that space where you want to put it. And because this is a 1/2 inch here, these little teeth, what you want to make sure where to set this bumper is that you're going to put a 1/2 inch block right here into there, and then you're going to line these up perfectly here, like on the side. Damn, this one blew out. So here on the side, you're going to line these up perfectly. So once you have your 1/2 inch, you clamp it in, you line these up perfectly. Then you can bring this bumper over, lock that bumper in, and that locks it in. And again, if you have to adjust it just a little bit because you're having too much of that overlap on the side, just move it a little bit and you're going to find that spot. Once you have your thing perfected and your bit set to the right level, then you can just pump these things out. Let me show you what it looks like if your bit actually on this scrap here. So, I almost feel bad releasing this, but do it for the kids. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna back it in even more here and show you what a loose joint would look like. Basically meaning that it's too far up here. I just wanna make sure I'm not touching. Just touching a little bit. I don't wanna be touching that, it's gonna ruin my bit. I'm gonna back it up just a little bit right there. And I think this is what a loose joint will look like. Let me show you, I'll cut it out. All right, so now let's see how we did. According to my calculations, this should be a very loose joint. Let's see. So that's this piece. Now we have this piece. Bang, that's a loose joint. So what that means is that that router bit was too short. You want to then lower the slider here. You want to lower that, and then that will give you a tighter joint. All these people that are showing you these exact perfect joints, they've already calibrated their entire machine, and they're only showing you the clips where they did it perfect. I guarantee you, because I had this thing perfect yesterday. Came back today to make this video, and you just saw the whole thing. So as I learned all these little things, I try to share them on my channel. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit follow and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.